Hey friends, brothers and sisters, fellow Christians. Hey, I'm Rodney Jones here, defending the faith. Figured I'd come and make you another video to help shed some light on some stuff for you so you can learn or talk about and just think about. Hey, if you're checking me out on YouTube, first time here, hit the subscribe button at the bottom. If you want to see my videos when I post a new one so you don't miss them, click the little bell next to it. I'd appreciate that. Welcome to Rodney Jones Defending the Faith. What I want to talk about tonight is tithing. This is a very touchy subject with some people, but I figured I would talk about it a little bit and let you come up with your own evaluation on it. Should Christians tithe today? Let me see here. I wrote some stuff down. And tithing means 10%, of course. The Old Testament law commanded that the Israelites tithe. Leviticus 27, 30, 32 talks about it. Deuteronomy 12, 6 through 17 talks about it. Deuteronomy 14, 22 through 28. And Deuteronomy 26, 12 through 14 speak of this tithing. That's in the Old Testament. Does God require Christians to give 10% of their income to the church today? Well, let's see. Both the Old Testament and the New Testament have a lot to say about giving. The Old Testament was the standard of the 10% tithe. The Old Testament actually required multiple tithes. If all were combined, the Israelites were required to give nearly 25% of their income. So that was combined together. They'd like give 2 or 3 tithes together. It wasn't just 10%. A lot of people probably don't know that. I think they gave for different reasons, gave to, even so the poor would be able to live, and there's different things. I can't remember what those are. I should have looked them up. It's been a while. So now in the Old Testament, wait a minute, trying to think here. The Old Testament actually required multiple tithes, like I said, of 25%, what it would come to. Now the Old Testament law is not relevant on the issue of Christians tithing today. Jesus fulfilled the law. Remember, I did a video on that about a week ago on the law. We are released from the law by Jesus dying on the cross. We're not under any laws. Any. Some people say we're under some. We're not under any laws. So Jesus fulfilled the law. So the tithe was part of the law. The New Testament teaches of giving. 1 Corinthians 6:2 tells you to put something aside to give at the first of the week. 2 Corinthians 9:7, each one must give as he has decided in his heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion. For God loves a cheerful giver. That should say a lot there. God loves a cheerful giver. In the New Testament, there is no set amount or requirement. We are to give generously, sacrificially, and joyfully. So, I grew up in a home to give 10% all the time. My wife writes the tithe check to our local church that we go to every week. I don't know what that is. I don't know what she writes it out to. I trust her with that. I don't care if she gives 30%. That really doesn't matter to me, because I love to give back, because God has blessed us. He's blessed us with jobs. He's blessed us with, a home, a roof over our head, a warm bed at night, food put on the table. It's up to you. God loves a cheerful giver. He loves for you to give back. I'm one of the guys that said don't rob from God, because God gives. He does. He gives us everything. So I've talked about the heart before. Where is your heart at? Where do you give, or what do you do? I've heard people say, that's my money, I shouldn't have to give back. churches, do have bills to pay. If you go into that church, you love the comfort of the seats, the heat or air conditioning. Sometimes there's some coffee and some food there. My pastor, I like for him to get paid too, because he's works and spreads the word. He does different things through the week, in offices and all. Preachers do work. My preacher does 3 sermons, so I know he's working, and all 3 of them. I got 3 pastors, so they all work. So be a cheerful giver. Be happy what God has given you and blessed you with. Give whatever you feel that you should give. God's not going to hold anything against you for that. He does love you to give. Even giving to somebody on the street without even worrying about what they're going to do with it, because that's not it's your money, but God gave it to you. Let them deal with God on what they do with the money. You don't know if that person's really going to get something to eat, or going to check into a motel room, or drinking it. That's not between you and them. You give because you want to care. You want to give because this person is in need. God does tell us if we have and a brother doesn't have, we're supposed to give to them. There's people that might own multiple houses, and then, they rent them out for make money and pay the bill. That's great. But if you have a brother that doesn't have a place to live, you kind of would like to move them. You should move them into that house and let them get on their feet, and maybe you struggle a little bit. I don't know. If you do it right, I guess you could survive with letting somebody get back on their feet. We're supposed to love people. We're supposed to give to the widows, give to the orphans. Just take care of people. We don't want anybody, we don't even want our enemy going hungry. So God loves a cheerful giver. That's the key you need to take from it. So if you don't think you need to give a tithe, that's true. But God loves that we give, and that we care. We have a heart for giving. He wants us to handle our finances in the right way. So there's that. There's a lot you can look up in the Old Testament about the law of tithing, and in the New Testament about giving. A little bit in the Old Testament, Paul talks about it, like I said in Corinthians, 1st and 2nd Corinthians. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helps shed some light on that issue. I've had people ask me about it. Do I think I should give a tithe? I know I've had a pastor jump at me one time and say, tithe means a tenth. I know that, but we're not under that law anymore. But I still give because I'm a cheerful giver. I love God and I love people. So, hey, God bless you. Have a good evening. Talk to you later.